Greetings all. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
You're in a class combining religion and critical thinking.
What's it called?
How religion gets made.
It's a single course that's part of a larger constellation of classes that Mark and I call the Technicolor Dreamcoat of Religion.
In other words, after this first introductory course in how religion gets made, we'll have more classes like critics of religion, angels and demons, believers, skeptors, and atheists, religions in America, Asian philosophies, and so on. And you want a class in something? Let us know. Maybe we can make a class about what you want.
Yeah, we're pretty creative. He is. I'm just here. No matter where we are, though, we are always, however, in the realm of the human imagination. Every course in religion, every faith one could profess, is based on and steeped in the imagination. Imagination is a superpower. Every single change or invention or idea in your life or in society began in someone's imagination or in a small group's collective imagination. From women getting to vote to the civil rights movement or better services for healthcare, especially mental health care.
Yeah. But also, the imagination plays roles in
Math,
physics,
business,
sports.
literature.
Imagination infuses it all. It infuses us all. When we make what we imagine repetitive, the more real the products of our imagination seem and become. Remember the magnet and nail? The more you rub that magnet against the nail, that nail becomes more and more like the magnet.
Like a knife's edge.
Some say the imagination is the quality that makes us most human, or uniquely human, especially our ability to collectively imagine the absolutely brand new. I reference here my favorite TED Talk of all time by Yuval Noah Harari, and I'll have that in the show notes and on the screen right now. I'd urge you to watch that as part of this course. But imagination is as unpredictable as what you'll dream tonight. Yet the imagination is powerful as love and hope and confidence.
And imagination is not recognized for what it is, the star-making stuff of often truly radical innovation that builds new worlds into being. For example, someone had to imagine every new medical treatment we've ever had.
Even the bad ones.
Even the bad ones. They had to come from someone's imagination. These worlds can be beneficial to all or to a very few. And the imagination can turn evil to all, such as some mad person trying to put their own Armageddon into place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in times, looks like a lot of people think it's right now.
Yeah.
Imagination is often dismissed as daydreaming, fantasy, or worse, fiction.
Yeah.
But, however, imagination plays a million roles every single day. From your favorite musician to the movie industry to the design of things we have, drive, dress in, eat, watch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's infused in everything. You cannot separate imagination from our lives.
Right.
Okay. However, don't we kind of poo-poo and look down on the imagination as a form of fantasy, not to be taken seriously? For example, if a job candidate put the word imaginative or imagination on their CV, it would certainly raise eyebrows. As early as elementary school or middle school, we are told that daydreaming is not going to get you that job. You know, or you become some replaceable cog in some big machine, and you don't have to think at all. And that somehow imagination is in some way a pointless and indulgent activity.
And you mentioned cog and not thinking at all.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that means?
Tell me.
That you become someone's bitch.
Okay, yeah.
I had to bring it out.
Yeah, thank you.
So our courses will show how integral the imagination is and can be for every endeavor in life, from faith to parenting to leadership to the entrepreneurial spirit. So come with us on our class's adventure into the imagination on how people around the world and across the centuries have imagined the many ways to be religious.
Okay.
Today's class is number 7 in our current course, How Religion Gets Made. And it's called The 6 Ways of Being Religious, a class that we hope you take very seriously. Each of these 6 ways is an imaginative on-ramp to an enriching and satisfying existence, religiously or not.
Yeah, because we humans are wired very much the same ways, but we're also wired differently. And this is good. That is, we can use our own brains, our own bodies, our own processes to imagine how to be religious in one's normal life. And diversity of experiences are good. We hope that in today's class you can come to feel, hey, I'm not so crazy after all.
But if you feel like you still are, I'll give you my number. We can do a session. So, guiding thought for today. Nothing is more dangerous than an idea when it's the only one we have.
Yeah. That one idea could be America or Christianity or skin color or food. You know, these always get reinforced with power. There's some power behind it. You do this or you're out. You do this or you're damned.
Ooh, what about gender?
Yes, yeah.
So, and this very idea is demonstrated in the following videos. We'll catch you in a few minutes.
It was 6 men of Indostan, to learning much inclined, who went to see the elephant, though all of them were blind, that each by observation might satisfy his mind. The first approached the elephant, and happening to fall against his broad and sturdy side, at once began to bawl, God bless me, but the elephant is very like a wall. The second, feeling of the tusk, cried, Ho, what have we here, so very round and smooth and sharp? To me 'tis mighty clear, this wonder of an elephant is very like a spear. The third approached the animal, and happening to take the squirming trunk within his hands, thus boldly up and spake, I see, quoth he, the elephant is very like a snake. The fourth reached out his eager hand, and felt about the knee. What most this wondrous beast is like is mighty plain to see, quoth he. 'Tis clear enough, the elephant is very like a tree. The fifth, who chanced to touch the ear, said, E'en the blindest man can tell what this resembles most. Deny the fact who can, this marvel of an elephant is very like a fan. The sixth no sooner had begun about the beast to grope, than seizing on the swinging tail that fell within his scope, I see, quoth he, the elephant is very like a rope. And so these men of Indostan disputed loud and long, each in his own opinion, exceeding stiff and strong, though each was partly in the right, and all were in the wrong. Moral? So oft in theologic wars, the disputants, I ween, rail on in utter ignorance of what each other mean, and prate about an elephant not one of them has seen.
What are some takeaways that we can use from this 6 blind men in the elephant video? First of all, experience guides imagination. And this shows how limited but also how provocative an experience can be. Your imagination can make anything out of any experience that you have. But notice in the video, your experience is your chief reference point. And the good part of your experiencing something for yourself is that once you have experienced something, you'll never be at the mercy of someone with a mere theory or opinion. Or as Chandler would say, once you've experienced something for yourself, you'll never be someone's bitch. Yes. Experience makes you a confident believer. But remember, your experience is yours alone, and it is partial. Not everybody's experiencing what you feel, nor are you experiencing what everybody else feels.
So a downside, though, is not being able to see others' experiences, say the experience of a hummingbird. But as legitimate or as important as my experiences, okay? So we inhabit our experience, and we feel it's the only reality because it's ours.
Yeah.
And thus we may downplay or downgrade others' legitimate experiences. For nothing is more dangerous than a single idea when I feel I'm the only one capable of it.
Yeah. Okay. So our purposes today are 2. First, to introduce that there are 6 and even multiples of 6s, like maybe 2, 3, and 4, or 1, 3, and 5. Mm-hmm. So there's 6 possible ways of being religious, and
to suggest that one way of being religious or seeing other religions is not enough.
Yeah. We're going to mention in today's class the words or phrase ultimate reality, which I'll just abbreviate UR. But that's only a stand-in phrase for the name of people's ideas for God or gods through the ages, or the Great Spirit, or whatever the naming of the power that they traditionally use as the one in charge. But we use ultimate reality in 3 ways. First
is the creator of all that there is. Just look around and note that all you have ever seen with one's eyes in a microscope or a telescope is that Creator's creation.
Second, that ultimate reality is the sustainer of all that there is that he just mentioned in the first point.
And third, that the ultimate reality is the completer of all that there is. So thus the Alpha, or the first, and the Omega, or the last, plus everything in between those 2 points.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. For our goal today is empathy. Empathy is a type of critical thinking. Very few people achieve it.
It's not tolerance.
How so?
Tolerance is saying that somebody's behavior, their beliefs or whatever is okay, and so I don't think that we're there to question people's beliefs, right? That's up to them. But their behavior, we don't have to tolerate something that we don't believe in, right? Yeah. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not empathetic.
Yeah.
And empathetic is not empathic. I want to make that point too.
Yeah. Okay. The point I want to make is not tolerance. By that I mean it's not mere tolerance. That is, right. I'll let you in my back door, but I'm certainly not going to let you be seen come in my front door.
God forbid.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Okay. Empathy is respecting and understanding another's perspective. Empathy is respecting and understanding a person's perspective as if we owned it. Am I willing to be evangelized by it as much as I want to evangelize it myself? Chew on that one a little bit.
Right. So one can still have empathy for others, but maintains one's a priori, like we said the last few times, beliefs.
Yeah. Yeah, and these a prioris are like our non-negotiables. Can we suspend our non-negotiables, things we'll never compromise on, in order to hear another person's story? And what are our non-negotiables? Their idea of God, how they got here, their family, the things you would never, ever go against them because you want to treat them as an equal, because you, in good golden rule fashion, don't want to treat them in ways that you would not want to be treated.
Right. But and even more superficially, that Chapel Hill's better than Duke.
Yeah.
I mean, I just got to put it in there.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I have a short video on empathy. We'll see you on the other side. Okay.
Here we go. All right. What is our first way to be religious, Mark?
It's called ritual. It often ritual often includes the use of symbols like crosses or stars of David or yin yang symbols or feminist symbols. Anything that is created that stands in for something that it doesn't actually name.
And often, to be religious, it involves our five senses.
Yeah.
What we see, what we feel, what we hear, what we smell, what we taste even.
Yeah. Yeah, think of going into a Catholic church with incense and music, and you taste the
And then the communion wine.
Yeah,
and,
taste,
yeah.
Okay. These rituals are usually action performed in a sacred space, such as a church or a temple.
And these rituals also, they often connect the present moment, what we're doing right now, with the past
Yeah.
and the future in a sacramental mode, often involving priests or holy people.
Yeah. Designated people that we use to lead these things. And these rituals seek to recreate the original expressions or intents of the founders of that religion, because I was not there at the founding of my faith or faiths. So rituals are the next best thing I can ever do.
So like baptisms
Yeah.
or certain meals
Yeah.
or like pilgrimages to Mecca, things like that.
Yeah. These are ritual things that we do ritually,
Right.
And by knowing that we're in ritual, it sort of puts a spotlight on that activity, and we call it a religious experience, which we'll get to in our next class.
Yeah.
Okay. The rituals bring you really close in to the religion's major experiences. They put you within this easy, imaginative reach of the very actions that make you religious in the first place. How? By involving you in the original data of the religion. We were not there when our religion was founded, right? So we use the stories, the old experiences, the old ideas of that religion's founder or founders as scripts for our actions today. When we do that, we feel we're doing absolutely the best thing possible to sync up ourselves with our God or our gods. Emphasize that none of these rituals were there at the beginning of whatever faith we belong to.
That's true. Because, so we never met the founder or the holy person who started our religions off. So we do what they did.
Yeah.
1,000, 2,000 years later, the ritual they began is the next best thing, like Mark said, that we can do. Because we're not there at the beginning. Yeah. We don't know exactly what they did, but we know what they told us to do, and ritualistically. So it's the next best thing that we can do. So in the prayer from Jerusalem just before, or in the next video that we're going to watch from the Islamic world, none of the participants were present when the temple was founded, or when Muhammad walked the earth. But by doing these prayers in the original places and ways our religion's founders prayed, well, it's the next best thing we can do.
Yeah, so that's why we do it.
Yeah.
And we feel that when we do it, especially a lot of times, we get closer and closer and closer. We get synced up with whatever our ultimate reality is. And that's what religion's all about, getting synced up with some prior energy, and rituals are the way that we do that.
So,
in the last video.
right, yeah. In the last video, notice how everything is so styled.
Mm-hmm.
It's laid out. It's done in order, an order that makes sense, like the magnet and nail. But it also provides one piece that is through and because of that ritual, synced up with the you are, the ultimate reality.
Yeah, you get your peace that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The next way of the 6 ways is number 2, right action. That is doing the right thing at the right time for the right reason.
The right action. So think about the golden rule,
Okay.
right? How do I harmonize my actions, my behavior to be in line with what I think the ultimate reality is, what the reality wants?
Yeah.
What if my ultimate reality was actually running the world?
Yeah. And we can do that by saying over and over to ourselves that golden rule that's in our tradition, and we think that's what our God or ultimate reality would want us to
Wants
do.
us to be doing.
And by doing the action, we are then more synced up.
Right. So how is the world supposed to be? And how am I to advance that worldview of what it's supposed to be? So how do I know and how do I practice whatever the divine will is of my belief?
Yeah. Okay. So some of the ways that we can do this is like with Tao, which is the way things are, and then we practice our peace by doing what nature does. Or in Buddhism and Hinduism, the idea of karma. We do things and we don't do things because we feel that we will get either closer to or farther away from the idea of God in those religions. Okay, Jesus' 2 commandments: love God, love neighbor. Okay, can't get any closer to that as a way of syncing up with God. And then Micah 6:8 in the Old Testament: what has God told you to do, O mortal man, but to love God? Love mercy. Walk humbly with your God. Okay. So, and many folks like this because they like the idea that works are superior to beliefs.
And psychologically, therapeutically speaking,
Yeah.
we as humans like to be a couple things. We like to be told what to do.
Yeah.
I mean, believe it or not, people are like, don't tell me what to do. No, as a human being, we like to be told, we need to be told what we do next.
Yes.
And so this is telling us, what do we do next to become more in sync with our ultimate reality?
Yeah. Okay. So when we do these actions, the faith is not only getting more real, but it's getting grounded in and getting dirty in and incarnated in real life for a change. And then and only then, in this second way, does religion become most real. So some of the action includes love thy neighbor.
So, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these. Mark 12, 29 through 31 out of the Bible.
Okay. From Leviticus or the Torah: thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against any children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
And from the Quran: and you should forgive and overlook. Do you not like God to forgive you? And Allah is the merciful, forgiving.
Yeah, this loving thy neighbor, it applies lots of different ways. We'll just rattle these off. Love thy homeless neighbor.
Muslim neighbor.
Love thy black neighbor.
Love thy gay neighbor.
Love thy white neighbor.
Love thy Jewish neighbor.
Love thy Christian neighbor.
Love thy atheist neighbor.
Oh, really? Do I have to? Love thy racist neighbor.
Oh, love thy addicted neighbor. Love thy sick neighbor.
Yeah. Mercy, mercy, mercy.
Right.
Every tradition, every faith tradition has a version of the Golden Rule. If you write to me, I'll send you my curated list of all the golden rules I could ever find from every religion, but also every philosophy and some from business world. Okay? So write to me and I'll send this to you. It's a 2-page document. You'll love it. Very cool collection.
Very cool.
So let's go to our third way of being religious, that religion becomes real to some folks by way of devotion.
So at one mint.
Or atonement, as we say, at one mint.
At one mint, atonement, with the ultimate reality. So that ultimate reality becomes one's all-encompassing focus, total devotion to our reality.
Yeah. If you're old enough to remember the Hare Krishna at the airports,
Mm-hmm.
that's devotion,
Yep,
guys.
with the roses.
Yeah. Or wanting above all else, a personal relationship with your ultimate reality. And you give up your small s self for the sake of the ultimate reality's big self, big S self.
Or falling in love with your ultimate reality, a relationship of trust and reflecting on that ultimate reality's love, because no matter what the religion or the belief, there is that belief that the God is a loving, powerful, omniscient God.
Yeah, and there's some nuns, Christian nuns throughout church history. They have written about this falling in love, and if you read their words one way, it sounds very devotional. But if you read it another way, in a carnal way, it sounds like they're getting really intimate with God,
Right.
Which is a good kind of intimacy, is what they want.
Well, and look at Song of Solomon.
Yeah,
I mean, just as a book.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, there's a perfect example.
Yeah. The Hare Krishna, Sufi Islam, and many evangelical and Christian forms of have this kind of devotion in their practices. Chandler, do you have any amplifications on this slide?
Yeah. I mean, I think here's something funny, and this literally happened on the way, because this slide says, lose your life to find it.
Lose your life to find it.
So one of my thoughts is love, right? I mean, everything that we've talked about, our ultimate reality, for me, has become a point in my life where love is something that I want it to guide me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care who you are. I don't care what you believe. I don't care who you love. Yeah. If you're a good person, and you're good to others, then I want to love you. Yeah. This actually happened on the way. I'll show you the hat when we leave here. I stopped by the post office for work on the way here. Picked up a box, and there's a guy standing outside with a hat that just said, I love, period. It's written in the same font as, God, I say it, Make America Great Again. But it's purple. And in black, it just says, I love, period. Mm-hmm. And I asked the guy, I said, man, I love that hat. Where'd you get it? And he goes, I made it. I was like, cool. He takes it off of his head and hands it to me.
And you have it?
I've got it in my car right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So, for me, ultimate reality, love.
Okay. To follow that awesome example, love is not something that you want, that you must get in a selfish kind of way. It's always wanting the very best for anybody else at any time, for any reason, wanting the best for them that they need at the moment.
With nothing in return.
That's right. Yeah. No strings attached.
Yep. Okay. In the Christian faith, it's agape.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. All right. In this third way of devotion, there are some similarities with the previous second way, that ritual or action. These actions shown here, walking on hot coals or imitating Jesus' death, these are not just beliefs, but living realities that one repeats again and again, merely because we imagine that when we do these devotional activities, we are getting closer to our gods and saviors. Mm-hmm. Wow. All right.
So let's go number 4.
Number 4.
Right? Shamanism, in my view, is humanity's first religious exercise or experience.
Yes, I agree. Mm-hmm. I see shamanism is the first skin of reality that covers the earth. It's the first layer of religiosity, and every faith that has come after shamanism has built upon shamanism as a foundation.
Sure.
Okay?
Yep.
By shamanism, I mean what we used to call medicine men or medicine women or witch doctors or witches. Someone who is grown up a little bit differently. They're a little weird. They may say things a little bit weirdly. They're probably into herbs and outdoors and speaking with animals and plants and doing things that we might want to medicate for them for these days. But back in the day, they were considered touched by the gods. And they had, the village people said, the power to reach in and speak to the gods much more easily than anyone else. And so if I had an issue, say, when do I start my business? Or should I marry this person or that person? Or what do I do with my cantankerous in-laws? I would take this problem to them, and then this witch doctor or, shaman or whatever you want to call them, they go into a trance. It could be drug-induced. It could be by fasting. It could be by dancing and ad infinitum. But they go into this trance, and they take my issues with them and ask the gods, the spirit world, what to do. And then when they come out of the trance, they have my answer. And I go away with that answer confident that my prayer was heard and answered. Okay.
So I've heard people over the years, especially people of the Christian faith, say or believe, because they're uneducated about it, that shamanism is evil. It's dark magic. It's all that. Isn't it the same thing as prophets?
Or you go to your pastor and say, "Could you pray for me, pastor?"
Yeah.
It's that very kind of thing.
Same thing. Yeah.
They think that someone may be holier than you, and you ask them to intercede before God or the gods, on your behalf.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because folks, you've lived life. I lived life. There's overwhelming challenges in life: hardships, illnesses, dangers. Who do I marry? Why is there evil? What do I do to get my life on the move? So the goal is some kind of psychic, emotional atonement with your ultimate reality. So I may need a shamanic figure. Could be your pastor, your imam, your priest, your spiritual guide or director, and they're going to go into a trance or some prayer or meditation on the part of the shaman. The shaman does this, and then they get these answers. And it comes directly from the ultimate reality that I believe in and the shaman is praying to. And the shaman brings these answers to me that she or he got into a trance. And it's not that bizarre. But it appears bizarre.
Sure. I mean, just because we're not used to it now, anymore. Yeah. But so for those out there, those of you that are Christian, there are shamans everywhere. Yeah. But we call them pastors, priests, prayer partners, prayer warriors, someone we feel is gifted with seeing things beyond our visible reality and then helping us, again, sync up with that invisible but ultimate reality. I mean, look at Pentecostal holiness.
Yeah. And it's our imagination that makes it all happen. Mm-hmm. So there's that I word again.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a great book on this called When God Talks Back. It's a study of evangelicals doing the evangelical charismatic praying, and they think that God talks back. Mm-hmm. So there.
And maybe he does.
Yeah, or she does.
It does.
I just love the way the Chinese writing explains or demonstrates shamanism. And these are both the same character. The one on the left is modern. The one on the right is how it used to look like. But the top line, horizontal line, represents heaven. The bottom line represents earth, where we are. And the line in the middle that's vertical emphasizes the connection between the two. And on either side are two people, shaman and me. So we are dancing here between heaven and earth, we're on earth, but we go to the heaven to get the answers. I just think that's
very cool. Yeah.
That's why I just love Chinese. It's crazy. Okay. So we're going to insert two videos here. Just know that the second has some bare flesh that's usually covered, so viewers take care.
Pacha shakes for the first time in America. He is anxious to reestablish contact with ancestral spirits. Chickens are used to open the altar because they have special powers to see and know. That's why the spirit of a chicken is used as a messenger and guide on journeys to the spirit kingdom.
Like eye drops, the juice of this liana soothes the irritation in the child's eye. They know 1,001 remedies for the ailments they suffer, but here, illness has a religious significance, as the source lies in magic and spells. So, apart from the potions and ointments with which they treat the ill, the shamans must travel to the other world, the country of the spirits, to receive their advice. They are the only ones capable of undoing the spells. They have to ingest large doses of sakona, which makes them salivate profusely. The journey they must go on to find their gods and ask their questions is very long. The ritual chants and the rhythmic movements are efficient means of leaving their bodies, transcending to the world beyond, to open the door which allows their consciousness to enter a different reality. In this case, they are trying to cure a child who has a stomachache. The mother believes that a shaman from a nearby village sent this evil with a man who came to woo her and was rejected. This type of conflict is very frequent among the Samena. The problem is that there are fewer women than men, and this causes constant disputes. Kidnappings and the consequent clashes between tribes and villages are very frequent. The head shaman indicates what they must do in order to purge the evil from the body of the child. The others execute his orders while he continues to ingest the powerful hallucinogen. He just rubs his hands over the stomach of the child to absorb the evil within. Then he turns and throws it away from the covered area into the jungle. The child will almost certainly be cured by the herbs they give him later, but the mother needs this cathartic rite in order to feel the spell has been broken.
And here's a picture that I took in Korea, of Korean shamanism. She is dressed as a goddess, and she's doing the dance, and she's portraying the goddess that everybody wants something from. So she is that. And then she'll go into her private place and come out dressed as another goddess or a god. And all the while she is in a trance or in some altered state, and then she's taken the prayers, the wishes, the wonderings of the people to the divine world, to the spirit world, and then coming back with answers. Okay? So, takeaways?
Well, I mean, I think the one thing is the imagination. And it's funny, I always try to relate this back to something that, that I encounter daily. Working with clients therapeutically, I ask them to imagine a life in sobriety.
Yeah.
People with mental health disorders, I ask them to imagine what would it be like if you didn't feel this way? Tell me what life looks like. We call it manifesting a lot of times in psychotherapy. Let's manifest what it is that you want. What does it look like?
Yeah. Yeah.
You've never seen that, but you know what you want it to be. And so you verbalize that, and you make the steps toward getting that. And you may never get all the way there, but you know where it is, and that is 1,000% your imagination.
Yeah. But are you not their shaman?
No pressure.
Suck on that one.
Right?
Yeah.
Great. I'm not going to sleep tonight.
Are they not seeing you as the kind of person that is going to help them?
Yeah.
You to hold their hand through the experience?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you as a pastor or as a professor?
Yeah. Or,
Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, some takeaways from shamanism. You get to have some propitiation. That means some alignment, some easing of guilt with the spirits, to align yourself with that spirit world.
You seek advice or you ask for help from the spirits.
Yeah. That shaman is your mediator, even you or me.
Exactly.
They go into an ecstatic experience, drug-produced or drumming-produced or something produced.
And then after the service is given or presented, you feel better. You feel a release. You feel lighter.
Yeah. A lot of people think that Korea is so Christian, but when I go to downtown Seoul, I mean, I see on the skyline 5 or 6 Christian churches at nighttime. But if you look around, each church has at least 5 or 6 shaman offices.
I bet.
And they're not cheap either. They are
Sure.
not cheap.
Yeah.
But all I'm suggesting today that every religious expression today contains or retains its shamanistic roots, which is that special person called by the spirit world that helps her or his community find the answers to life as they live it.
All right.
All right.
All right.
So, everybody ready for number 5? It's called the mystical quest, this 5th way. If you want to experience your ultimate reality without any mediation, that is, no words, no intermediators, nothing. You want to experience, that God, that ultimate reality, side by side with you without any filter. And this way you get to transcend your ego. Words will fail because your goal is direct experience.
Yeah. And it gives one a purpose for living a very intentional life. And we've talked about this.
Yeah.
One of my things that I try to do is live intentionally positive.
Yeah.
So,
But is it mystical?
I think it can be.
Okay. Well, let me give you an example of some guy. You may have heard of Martin Luther King Jr. And he was really in a bad time of his life. People were attacking his house, his family. His house was firebombed. And one night, middle of the night, he gets up and he just prays, God, I cannot do this. I cannot do this. I cannot do this. And he lists all the reasons why he should not be the one that God calls to lead the long march to freedom. And yet, by the end of his prayer, he realizes that, yep, he's been touched. He's been touched on the shoulder by God. You are the one. I will be with you. And don't quibble about this anymore. Okay? And he's like lots of people. Moses at his burning bush.
Yep.
Jesus when he's in the desert, chatting up with the devil.
Yeah.
Buddha at his bow
At the bow tree.
Yeah.
Muhammad in his cave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Virtually all religions begin with and stay vibrant through mysticism. Absent mysticism, it becomes dead. Okay? Yeah. All right.
So it often involves meditation and ascetic exercises. Mysticism is real when it's joined with social change, like you said, Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah, yeah. And that was a mystical outpouring of his life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he felt like he and God were doing the same thing at the same time for the same reason.
Yep.
And that's powerful.
Yeah, very.
Every religion begins in mysticism.
Yeah, I mean, so Judaism began with Abraham hearing God's voice on a vision, and then Moses meeting God in a burning bush.
Yeah, yeah. So Jesus began his pilgrimage in faith by a 30-day fast in the desert.
And Christianity began maybe with some disciples who, while mourning the death of Jesus, found him right there in their midst.
How does that happen?
Right?
Yeah. I mean, this is after the death of Jesus. Paul started his version of the Christian faith perhaps in a mystical assault, basically, on the road to Damascus in a big vision.
Buddha, under his bow tree, meditating all night and seeing how the number one problem of humanity is our cooperation, our okayness with suffering.
Or letting it in and just a little camel's nose under the tent. That's all we need.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's all.
Or Muhammad in his cave, hearing the angel Gabriel recite the words that he later inscribed into the Quran. So if every faith needs a core of mysticism to begin it, it needs the same to stay viable. People in all-night prayer meetings, retreats, monks, nuns, mystical writings. The place is full of them if we check it out. And check out this video from the Sufi form of Islam. We'll see you on the other side. So when we get to other ideas of mysticism, a popular way today is meditation.
Absolutely.
What does meditation do?
Well, mindfulness, but the idea of meditation is to interrupt the usual, the normal, the daily drudgery, if you will, so that the unusual, which is, by the way, it's always been there, you're just not connected to it, but it's there. But to let that unusual come out.
But to know in the moment everything. Someone did this idea that a meditator, a non-meditator, when a car goes by, they just sense the car's gone by. But a meditator, when the car goes by, is going to hear the change of tone in the tires. It's going to hear the gears. It's going to hear, the engine whining. It's going to know
the inner workings.
It's going to know that what's going on in that car,
Right.
and it's got that sense. It's not a supernatural sense. It's just that they have trained their brains to be open to every piece of reality that's possible at that moment.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. Another way to do this is by Zen meditation. They draw this big empty space. Don't call it zero, but this is where we want to talk about emptiness, because many spiritual tradition has a teaching of emptiness, or that state of pure consciousness in which the mind has been relieved of all ego or desire-related objects and images, all those things that we think we want, that we don't need.
And that we have to have.
Yeah, you know what that's like. Emptiness is treated as a positive mystical state in Judaism, or the Vedic or Hindu traditions, and Buddhism and the Christian traditions.
But just briefly, a note on the Christian version of emptiness. In the scripture called Philippians, Jesus is described as emptied.
Yeah.
Right? The Greek word is kenosis, and his empty state prepared him for his task as the God-human.
Yeah. You check that out in Philippians chapter 2. It's one of the earliest Christian hymns. We've lost the music, but we still have the words. In Buddhism, emptiness practice deconstructs our illusions and hallucinations fed by the scattered and undisciplined mind. Have you ever had a scattered or undisciplined mind?
Never, not once.
It produces lots of hallucinations, things we think are there and are real.
Yep, daily.
I heard this great line the other day: to worry is to worship the thing that worries you.
Huh.
Suck on that.
I'm going to write that down somewhere.
Yeah. So, in Buddhism, there is no self, but a fertile emptiness. In other words, the deconstruction of a busy, crowded, chaotic self. That's the way to liberation in Buddhism.
So why do so many spiritual traditions focus upon the radical power of emptiness? So that what is original in us may emerge free of distortions. Emptiness kills ego. In therapy, we call it the cognitive distortion model.
Yeah. And every good faith basically says to be a good person in this faith, you've got to kill the ego. You can't have a relationship with your ego. Yeah.
Nope.
Okay. Emptiness ends falseness. Only the empty cup proves useful. Only the emptied lung can breathe. Only the empty places are the places we can find ourselves. Emptiness, paradoxically, is abundance. When truly emptied of desire, one is more likely to see reality as it is and not live in some hallucination that others have provided for us. What is not real cannot survive emptiness. What is not real cannot survive emptiness. So here's an idea of Christian meditation, a labyrinth.
So the power of silence. Above all things, love silence. Out of your silence will arise something that will draw you into deeper silence. If you practice this, inexpressible light will dawn upon you.
In Mars Hill, there are two labyrinths. There are two labyrinths in this really tiny town. I think it's cool. All right. Okay, class, that's 5 ways of being religious. One more, which is where most professors or theologians are. Okay? It's called reasoned inquiry. It seeks understanding. Faith seeking understanding. In Latin, it's called fides quaerens intellectum. Okay?
So use of reason and thought or historical understanding.
Yeah, you do your research and your me-search.
Oh.
Yeah, you can find out what you need for yourself.
Right.
This kind of research produces ideas or things like theology or apologetics. And apologetics is a demonstration of the faith that faith is rational no matter what. It's got a rational basis to it.
So unlike the mystical that we were talking about, this assumes that that you can actually talk about your religious experience, that you can verbalize what it is you're having go on.
Yeah. I sometimes like to combine the mystical part of me with the rational part of me. And on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I am reasoned inquiry. On Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, I am mystical. And then on Sunday, I go to some congregation and pray about it.
There you go.
Yeah. It's great. So here's some ideas of faith and reason together. Okay. Confucianism, which is a very reasoned faith. Okay.
Yep.
In faith, you get to this Venn diagram. You have understanding and practice. They come together.
And that's faith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What this means is when one is faithful first, emptied out, and when emptied, understanding happens. And this describes a theological concept where faith acts as a starting point for your intellectual inquiry, like Thomas Aquinas or Thomas Merton.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
It promotes believers to seek deeper comprehension of their faith, why they believe what they believe, and that helps them in their belief or their faith. This approach, notably used by St. Anselm, emphasizes this interplay between faith and reason, suggesting that faith inspires and informs intellectual exploration of theological and philosophical truths, which then come to me, and I'm a bearing witness, it comes to me, holy cow, that's awesome. I need to put that back in my life. Yeah. So let's review.
Okay.
6 ways of being religious.
Yep. So first would be the sacred rite that we talked about.
Yeah. Reasoned inquiry.
Yep. Mystical quest.
Shamanic mediation.
Devotion.
Right action. All can point to ultimate reality. There's none that's better than the other. It depends on what you like, how you're made up psychologically.
And what you need.
Yeah, right. Okay. So,
my favorite way?
Yeah.
For me, my favorite way, I would say, would have to be when we talked about meditation.
Yeah.
A way to empty myself.
Yeah.
And to then be filled with whatever it is that I need to be filled with.
So, Chandler, let's conclude.
All right.
None of these 6 ways is an exclusive standalone. Again, nothing's more dangerous than one single idea when it's the only one you have.
Right. Yeah. And each one relates the ultimate reality and human abilities and strengths.
Yeah. Some of us have better strengths with our eyes or our ears or our cognitive or our feeling. So you go with your strengths.
Right.
Okay. There's overlap. There's cross-fertilization. And thus multiple ways maybe in you and me. Maybe you combine 1, 3, and 5. Okay.
Yeah. And find out what works best.
Yeah.
Each way may bring balance out of the rest. Otherwise, one way may dominate, which could be bad, right?
Yeah.
Or it could be good.
If you're an expert in one, stay with your expertise.
Right.
But don't let that be your only road.
Right.
Okay. So, give you the example of my hand. 5 fingers, but I'm needing everything to connect it with a hand and to grasp and to hold and to love. Okay. 1 finger alone won't work. Okay. So, musicians, if you know only as A is 440 megahertz, how will you know B or any other note?
And if one knows only one thing, one may know
Nada.
zero, zilch.
Yeah. Well, if you know one book, you know no books. If you know one God, you may know no gods. If you know one friend, you may have no friends, really. So you need the diversity.
Yeah.
So I have confidence that you have in your own lives the competence to marry these 6 ways with the faith that you have or want to have. So thank you for being with us, class. Hope you're having a blast in marrying your critical thinking or the ways that we can all become religious. If you like these, if you find these classes helpful, tell someone else already.
Or just leave us a good rating and a comment on your podcast platform, whatever you listen to.
This helps the pod get noticed by more people around the world. If you want to get in touch with me, my email is always in the show notes. But for now, this is Mark Mullinax.
And Chandler Schroeder. And remember, if you don't do your critical thinking,
What happens?
you'll become someone's bitch.
Okay.
See ya.
Thank you.